Hello Jeepsters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Sorry, I'm sliding out towards the door. Today, as the title suggests, we're going to be having a look at this Napoleonic British Light Hussars. Light Hussars, Gav? They'd just be Hussars. You can have Dragoons, heavy, light Dragoons. And a lot of our light Dragoons are made into Hussars. If you're not into this type of thing, that's totally confused you already, hasn't it? I was totally confused when I bought this box because I thought I was buying French Hussars. I don't really care, I just enjoy painting. And I like mounted figures, so it doesn't bother me one little bit. And they're British anyway. There's no why I'm looking on the back of this, I've got no idea. And because without my readers on, I can't see a thing. But yeah, 28mm plastic Perry miniatures, British Hussars. And they can be made from 1808 to 1815. So let's go down to the bench and take a quick look. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. As you can see, beautiful artwork by the Perrys again, or not by the Perrys, well it might be, I don't know, they're very artistic people. Yeah, very atmospheric. I do always like their plastic boxes. They can give you a lot of ideas in themselves. 14 mounted figures in the box. I have opened the box already. I was very impressed. So you're saying, well, that's it Gav, wrap the video up. But it's one of Gav's videos and we don't do it on this channel. We talk until we can't talk no more. Yeah, so on the back we've got the regiments you can do. There is a really handy guide inside, which we'll see in a minute. A lot of you guys, I know you know this already, but there are people that are just taking up the wargaming hobby or the figure painting hobby or a bit of both, and they don't know. And I've also got a lot of Maras out there, that's friends to anybody that doesn't know, who don't do this type of thing. We've got car modelers, aircraft modelers, tank modelers, sculptors, you name it. They don't do this type of stuff, but they enjoy seeing what can be done, just as I enjoy watching their stuff, so they don't know either. So we've got 7th British Hussars, 10th British Hussars, 15th British Hussars, 16th British Hussars. Now you're wondering why does it keep saying British? Well, it's just because we still had a German king as well, with obviously links to Hanover and that. And so we've got 1st King's German Legion, 2nd King's German Legion, 3rd King's German Legion, Hanoverian Bremen, Hanoverian Cumberland Hussars, also Hanoverian Bremen Verden Hussars, and Hanoverian Lüneburg Hussars. I have yet to decide what I'm going to do, because it's me and I change my mind all the time. So let's get the box open and take a look. Right guys, as you can see, you do get a very handy, as they always do, and they vary in the details that they put on, but they're always really useful. You get these handy guides for the uniforms, because what the Perrys try and do is give you as many options as they can fit into a box, really. This is bought by me, no connection to Perry Miniatures. Now, I was thinking, first of all, the first one that caught my eye was the Duke of Cumberland's Hussars. Now, the only problem with this is, as far as I remember, they decided on the eve of Waterloo because most of these would have been this period for the 100 Days campaign, so Battle of Waterloo 1815. They decided to ride very fast through Brussels, telling everybody that Napoleon's troops were on the way. As far as I remember, I may have got that wrong. And I'm thinking, as I've got to sell these afterwards, because I just paint for the enjoyment. I have got some obviously in my own collections, but I paint mainly for try and bring some income in. And as much as I'd like to do these just for the colours, I'm wondering, let's just get that a bit closer. I'm wondering if, let's get the light down as well, sorry, if they will sell, because if I remember rightly, they didn't cover themselves in that much glory. I might be wrong, And then I was thinking of these Luneburgs. And I might still go that well. I was fancy doing the fur cap rather than the shako. So I don't know. And then you you look at the Bremen and Verden Hussars. There's such a choice, isn't there? I don't know. What do you do? Decisions. And then obviously you get your telling you, what this one without the peak to the shako is one of the early caster, or was it caster or caster caps? And if you're wondering, to the guys that don't know what all this stiff, these like cords hanging off, that's to keep the shako when you're riding very fast on a horse. Often, obviously, the shako or the fur cap, it'll fly off, and it just keeps it attached to you, rather than you having to pay the quartermaster for the next 2 years of your life for a new hat. We got, well, let's go for the front. We've got 7th Hussars, and again all their iterations here, so you can more or less pick out of any of these. If you want to go fancy on some of the adornments, you can do, and if not, and the Peleus, is it? God, Gav, how many years have you been? Yeah, it is Peleus. Peleus, that's a blooming bed thing. The Peleus. These come separately, so you don't have to have this trailing off. I will do, just because it'll add to the figure. But I had gone down as far as thinking maybe doing the 10th. I think at the moment it's between doing the 10th with the red shakos, which might well be the ones on the front of the box. Or the 18th, but with the higher fur crown, fur cap was the very early versions, and they were saying that, as it shows there, they didn't keep them very long, a year or so. But then you've got the lower version fur cap. I may do that, but I do keep drifting back as well to some of the German units. I mean, most of the King's German Legion were more or less in the same as we were. So it would be one of the more units that was raised literally to the tail end of the Napoleonic Wars. So I like the red and the green there. That's all it'll be just down to colour. It won't be particularly fighting reputations. But then again, I said that about the Cumberland Hussars, but it might be something like the Bremen and Verden Hussars. But there's so many. I'd have to go trying to read up on all the different squadrons. That's like multi squadrons, different cuts, slight different variations. And I would prefer probably to have all one. So it could be Luneburg or the Prince Regent's Hussars. We shall see. You know what I'm like. But there's your guide. Everything's going to move more or less the same. So let's just take a quick look. British cavalry had docked tails on the horses. It was docked only to keep the muck off the back of the horse and in the horse's tail, and that, well, not off the back of the horse, on the horse's tail, I believe. But again, simply they just obviously stick together in two halves. You sometimes get a seam line, sometimes don't, but they're not massively hard to sort out. I mean, obviously on the rider's side, you know where he sits, that obviously gets covered up anyway. But some of the others I've had have actually been like this. Well, actually they're all the same, aren't they? yeah, you've got the head there, so she fits in there. So hopefully it'll be along the line of where they've got some harness work. So that's our different styles of horses galloping. I'm going to do all these in the I don't know what the exact terminology is, but with the swords advancing, if we put it that way, you can get the two types. You can get the sword over the shoulder, so just before they get the order to actually go to the full charge, because they normally, if I remember rightly, cavalry will build up from walking, trotting, you know, and obviously you're not just going to get your horse all blown out already on the first, you know, the first bugle type thing. So they'll start off like that and then go into the charge, I believe. Again, swords are really nice. Points to snip off the sprues, that's not a problem. All these guys have got moustaches. I don't know if they had that in real life. That doesn't faze me. We've got the bag of the caps all flowing in the wind, which is good, as they're on charging horses. And there's a pelisse, nicely detailed. The fur's nicely detailed too. Yep, very nice. As I say, I think they're all going to be roughly the same. We've just got, is it the one officer and the so that there's nothing going to be out with Perry. You normally have to buy if you want an extra command sprues, you'll have to buy an extra sprue, you know, with you can buy sprues. Yeah, I know they sell them on eBay as well, the people that obviously cannibalise these boxes and just sell them as sprues, but you know, if you're buying, say, direct from Perry's, if you want extra officers, you just obviously buy a sprue like this separately. Here we go with the officers. A bit more detail in the harness work. And I think that's about it. As I say, there's several sprues in there to cover 14 horses. I think I'm just showing you the same stuff really. Let's just show your body. There we go. All you've got to do is stick the sword arm on, and then, as I say, if you want to put the pelisse on his shoulders or not, so that's entirely up to you. But you can make these for obviously these units were serving throughout the peninsula, and then obviously into the 100 Days campaign later on. There we go. That is our look. Oh, and you get your usual plastic. Let's get that out of it now. I did used to, in the early days when I bought some Perry box sets, I'd put them on these, but I just put them on MDF. I've got that much in MDF. I prefer to stick them on MDF. So I'm getting quite a collection of those. Yeah, that's everything. As we drop sprues all over the floor, so let's get the box back. Try some up. So what do I think? Very impressed as always. There isn't a lot that can really go wrong with them. I don't know about the mould lines on the seam line on the horse when you put it together. Some of the I think I've only actually done the cut. No, I did some Agincourt Knights as well, I believe. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong. There may be a seam line when you join them together. I'm not 100% sure until obviously I've done that. I was hoping to do a painted example, as I've done on the way back on the Carabineers. However, I've got so much on the go. Yes, we've got more. We have more Perry plastics. This is just in my own time I'm doing this, because at the moment I'm still painting Empress Dragoons for a client. But yeah, when I've done the plastic infantry, I would have hopefully finished the clients by then, and they'll be on their way to him. and I shall have a go on these. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be doing a, hopefully, he says, I might try a different technique with these. I'm not going to say anything about it just yet, because I might, with all the times I change my mind, I might not even do it. It depends how time consuming it is. But we'll have a look. If I've changed my technique on the horses, so only be on the horses. If I change it on the horses, I'll obviously let you guys know how I've done it. So yeah, very impressed. As I say, there's been very few of the Perry's plastic boxes that I haven't done loads of them. I'm just trying to think. As I've always said to you, I wasn't a huge fan of their the American Civil War stuff that I got a few years ago when it first came out. I never got the hats to sit right. You know, they looked as if they were too small for their heads. That was just me. Maybe I was doing it wrong. The Agincourt Knights, which I've still got in a box, I just ran out of love for. I was pushing myself to do something different, and I just it wasn't really anything to do with their knights. It was just me. I just ran out of steam with them. What else? I've done I did some plastic Prussians years ago, just again to sell on. They were okay. I had a bit of a struggle with them, only because I'd never done anything like that before. I'd always just painted metal figures before, but that wasn't anything to do with the Perrys. That was just down to me. The British plastics I've painted. I had problems, I had more than problems, trying to get where they're in the firing pose, getting them onto the figure and getting them to stay and look anything like decent. So in the end I just didn't bother with the firing poses. That's on that British infantry set I did. However, let's just reach up in there, just to be absolutely fair. This guy here, Voltigeur, he's in the firing pose. Not a perfect fit, and I've put some putty around him, but it wasn't it's 5 minutes work. So that worked. The British, I just couldn't even get anywhere near to even making a decent join. But again, that could be me. I don't do a lot of plastics. But no, oh, and then we've got obviously the Carabiniers I did. I thought they were great, brilliant, and I would imagine these will be the same. So there we go. Watch this space. It will be, we're talking probably it's hard to say with me because it takes me so long to paint stuff, but I would have thought about a month away, 3 weeks, a month, I don't know, before I start with these. But obviously when I start doing the first few, I'll obviously get a video up as always. And that's it really. I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to confuse it with this box unboxing, but I've got another 6 Napoleonics done, and as I've said to you guys, I'm putting them 6, any excuse for a video. Now I'm putting 6 up at a time as I work through the box. So we've got another company done. You'll see those in a day, maybe tomorrow. We've suddenly had a temperature drop at last. We've had a couple of days of very high 30s, and it was been absolutely murder to paint. I've wanted to do a couple of bits of my models, and I've not been able to do any of those. And the painting I've been finishing, I normally paint till 1 in the morning sometime, and I've been knocking off at 9 o'clock. it's just been after painting all day in the heat with just a fan on your back. It's been hard work. So yeah, we've got another 6 foot to show you, the Perry French plastics, and we've got another 6 which I've had all the trousers done, the jackets. I've got one more colour of red to put on the cuffs of the jackets. So they've got another, probably, I literally do those guys. Obviously the client's got to come first, and I do those 40 minutes here, 50 minutes there, or if I happen to have some paint mixed up for the client, which doesn't really go at the moment as I'm doing Empress Dragoons, so they are languishing a bit. But yeah, we'll get that box done soon. Almost finished what I'm doing with the client's infantry. I keep promising you that, but they are almost ready for a video. They haven't got any colours attached to them yet or anything, but you'll get you'll be actually see some painted and completed, couple of painted front rank regiments in the next week or so. I've been promising that for about 3 weeks. So look after yourselves, guys. Many thanks for stopping by and taking a look. Hope everything's going well with you. Enjoy what you're doing. You know, whether you're painting figures or sticking kits together, you know, it's all about putting a smile on your face at the end of the day. So enjoy what you're doing. I enjoy doing my videos. I enjoy painting. I enjoy modelling, and I hope you do too. Look after yourselves.